For our second example, we have x equals square root of x plus 13 plus 7 outside, okay? So let's get started. The first step is to leave the square root term by itself, okay? That means that we have to move this plus 7 into the other side. So let's move it, right? So we have plus 7. The opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. Minus 7, we move it to the other side. That will leave us with x minus 7 equals square root of x plus 13. Now that the term with the square root is by itself, we could get rid of it, okay? So automatically, our index is 2. That means that we're gonna do a power of both sides of 2 because our index is 2, so we do all the left side with power 2 and the right side with power 2, okay? Notice that automatically this index 2 with this power 2 will get cancelled. We will be left with only whatever is inside the square root, okay? Because the square root is being cancelled with this power 2 right here. So we are left with x plus 13 only. Now, in the left side, we have x minus 7 to the power of 2. That means that we need to expand this into a quadratic equation, right? Because we have power 2. So we could do an expansion of x minus 7 times x minus 7. Remember, power 2 means that we're going to multiply all of this inside by itself 2 times. So 1 time, 2 times. So x minus 7 times x minus 7 equals x plus 13. Let's work on this multiplication having 2 terms, right? So we're going to start with the x. We're going to multiply the other term here. And then the first term of this parenthesis is going to multiply the second term of the other parenthesis. And our second round will be the second term of our first parenthesis is going to multiply the first term of the second parenthesis. And then finally the second term with the other second term. So let's start. So x times x, that will give us x power 2. X times negative 7, that will give us negative 7x. Remember, positive times negative, negative. Likewise, we have negative 7 times x, that will leave us negative 7. And finally, negative 7 times negative 7, that will give us positive 49. Negative times negative, positive. And let's bring the right side here. The next step is to combine like terms if possible. Notice that in our left side we have this term with x, this term with x. So they are like terms, so we have to combine them. We have minus 7x minus 7x, or negative 7x minus 7x. Both are negative, so let's add them and keep the negative sign. So we're gonna have x squared minus 14x, 7 plus 7 is 14, and then keep them negative because they both negative, plus 49 equals x plus 13. In order to solve a quadratic equation, we have to make one side equal 0. So we have to move either this side to this side or this side to this side in order to make one side equal 0. Let me give you an advice. Let's take a look at x squared. It is positive, so let's keep it positive, okay? That means that we have to move this x to this side and this 13 onto the left side as well. That will make this side equal 0, which is what we want, okay? So let's start moving things around. So we are going to move x plus 13 into the left side in order to leave it equal to 0, okay? So let's move x. Notice that is positive, automatically is positive. So when we move it, it's going to be negative. And it's going to combine with the term from the other side that also has an x, which is negative 14x, because they both are like terms. Let's move the 13 in the same step. 13 is positive, so when we move it, it's going to be negative, and it's going to combine with 49 because they both are like terms, numbers. So x and minus x cancels, 13 and minus 13 cancel, and we are left with x squared. And here we have a negative and a negative, right? We add them and we keep that negative sign, right? So this one automatically is 1. So it's going to be minus 15x. 14 plus 1 is 15, both negative, keep the negative sign. Now we have 49 minus 13. Yeah, so we could do the operation here. 9 minus 3 is 6, 4 minus 1 is 3, and 49 is higher. That will leave us with 36 equal to 0, right? Cancel, cancel, everything is canceled here, so we left with equal 0. Now we have a quadratic equation ready to solve. We could use either factoring, quadratic equation, or completing the square. Let's do this time quadratic formula, okay? If you remember, so let's use the quadratic formula. Remember, the quadratic formula is x because our variable in here is x, okay? If the quadratic equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So that means that a is the number in front of x squared, in this case is 1. B is the number in front of x, which is minus 15. And c is our number by itself, in this case is 36. 0, 0, so we don't care about that. So let's start, okay? Let's start using the quadratic equation. So we're gonna have x equals minus b. Remember, this negative is part of the formula, so we have to write it. Minus, but b, notice in this case b is negative 15, right? So we have to add a parenthesis because it's negative, and eventually negative. Parenthesis negative means multiplication. Negative times negative becomes positive. Plus or minus, this plus or minus is what is going to give us the two solutions that we want. And then a square root of b squared. Remember b is negative 15, so negative 15 power 2 minus 4 times a. A in this case is 1, automatically is 1. Times c, which is 36 in this case, positive, right? Divided by 2 times a, so a is 1. And then from there we just do a little bit of algebra. So remember, negative times negative is positive, plus or minus. Now we have 15 to the power of 2. That means that we're going to multiply negative 15 by itself 2 times. So negative 15 times negative 15. Negative times negative is positive, and that give us 225. Okay, so we have negative 4 times 1 is negative 4 times 36, that will give us minus 144. Okay, divided by 2, right? Then let's keep simplifying, okay? 15 plus or minus. Now we have 225 minus 144. So when you do the subtraction, we're gonna get 81, and everything divided by 2. Now let's simplify the square root of 81. We're gonna have 9, because the square root of 81 is 9, because 9 times 9 is 81, and divided by 2. Now notice, we're gonna have two different solutions, one with plus and the other one with minus. So let's do the first one. Let's do with plus. So we're gonna have 15 plus 9 and divided by 9. So 15 plus 9, that will give us 24 divided by 2, that will give us 12. And then the other one, 15 minus 9 divided by 2. 15 minus 9, that will be 6, divided by 2, that will be 3. So these are our two solutions. So x equals 12 and x equals 3.